Yes, sir. Welcome back to another Trap or Die film session. I am your host of the Trap or Die podcast, Mual, Jamal Forrest, man. And listen, we're here to break down Chase Young's performance against the Chicago Bears. There wasn't a lot going on that's worth bragging about or even discussing against the Chicago Bears, right? This is kind of like a wash your hands from a fan standpoint, an outsider standpoint. Coaches, players, they got jobs to do. But you wash your hands and you move on to the next week. It was that bad. Right. And if you know me and you follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at Let Maul Tell It. You know that I post the good and bad clips from a weekly basis. But with this type of performance and obviously understanding the situation that Chase Young is in, contract year, battling with Montez Sweat, it's worth putting Chase Young on the spotlight this week. So we're going to tap into a couple Chase Young plays that I thought were pretty good. Quite a few Chase Young plays that I thought were pretty good and how he impacted the game from his individual standpoint. So without further ado, like, subscribe, comment, let us know what's up. Let's get into Chase Young. All right, so I think one of the things that we're starting to see from Chase Young as the weeks goes on is like his ability to impact and threaten offensive tackles with his burst and his quickness. That's showing up a lot on tape, and I think it's something where, like, as he continues to goes on throughout the weeks of the season, he's going to be getting better and even more comfortable out there. And I think with the 3 sacks that he has, right, it'll continue to grow, and like you'll see the impact that he has on games in a more clearer manner. But right here, you're seeing obviously a rollout action, right, from the Chicago Bears. But you see Chase Young's ability to collapse and even stop Fields' momentum towards the sideline by pressing on or basically bullying back that left tackle. 75, I think that's 75 or 65, whoever it is, right? But you see the pressure that he's putting on Justin Fields right here, eventually forcing a throwaway for the Chicago Bears in this instance. All right, I mentioned the burst and the quickness, right? Foot quickness in particular, but that good burst that he has at the line of scrimmage right here in the 2-point stance, you're able to see how it affects a tackle in 75, right? Right here is obviously when you see he's able to win inside, but with that good get off, it threatens that tackle, right? He's already overset against Chase Young, but Chase Young has that burst, but that quickness to already, right, at that point of engagement, open up the gate for 75, right? His hips is already out of position. He's able to just get inside and get the hit on the quarterback. Now, obviously, Washington gives up a sack on the back end. It gives up a 9-yard completion on the back end. But when you have a tackle or edge rusher that's winning in 3 seconds, in less than 3 seconds at that, getting a hit on the quarterback, if your coverage is good on the back end, that's a sack. But again, really good rep from Chase Young right here. Even with the hand usage, right? Just getting his hands up there so he can quickly shed that shed that left tackle's block, get off him, and get a hit on the quarterback. And here's what should have been his one whole sack. He had a half sack on the day, but this one should have been a sack. Justin Fields is very strong, but we mentioned that burst and quickness, right, and how that threatens the tackle. You see it again in this very instance. Chase Young 2-point stance again, being able to, first off, get off the line with a really good burst again, right? Get off is really good. Hand placement at this point, right? Hands outside the shoulder of 75, that left tackle. Gets inside of him because 75 oversets again. He's just threatened by his quickness. He's worried about trying to half-man Chase Young. So he's able to get him to overset, Chase Young is, and at that point, easily, with his play strength, pushes 75 out the way, has a clear path to the quarterback right now. Able to wrap him up, but again, Justin Fields is just a unique individual. Look, I have issues sometimes with Chase Young's effort in pursuit sometimes, but to the point where I can say I feel like you could have done a little bit more, but don't say he has no effort or he gives no effort at all. He absolutely does when he's on backside of plays, or maybe a receiver or a tight end or a quarterback is a little bit outside of his ability to make a play, but he'll still pursue him, right? But in this instance, you see the play, he's not play side on this toss, right? But he's able to take that shortest path, beeline, accelerates, able to get to that path and limit Herbert to a 4-yard gain, I believe, making that play on his own in a sense, for real. Well, I lied. He had some help, specifically Montez Sweat. Being able to maintain or force that run back inside. So good job by both defensive ends on that play. Now, we talked about an almost sack. Now, this is the half sack that we mentioned, right? Again, good foot quickness, right? Good burst, right? really putting some stress on that left tackle. You're going to see what I mean when he puts some stress on the left tackle, how Chicago Bears responded on one particular play, right? I'll show you. Stay tuned for that one. But right there, disrupting the pocket immediately, right? Essentially keeping Justin Fields in the pocket. Him and I think that was, who was that? Sweat collide and share the half sack. So good on them. But you see how Chase Young is being able to affect this instance. Look at kind of how the whole structure of the rush is looking, right? When Chase Young cuts in, if you have a question about his lane integrity, you can kind of see the natural stump between he and John Allen, right? As soon as he cuts in, Allen loops back outside. So he has the edge if Justin Fields decides to leave the pocket. John Allen can begin his chase down. If not, unless he's able to really even get a hand on him. So, but you kind of see the loop right there, the natural loop that is created when Chase Young is able to slant inside. Once he sees that opening, Jonathan Allen replaces him on the outside. So I think from a freelancing standpoint, I don't know how much leeway Chase Young has, but you also see how he and John Allen are responding to how one person rushes in a particular situation. Another thing for Chase is not getting blocked by a tight end, right? So Chase Young does a good job, or he just does his basic read, right? Run, pass, read. Understands that Justin Fields is in a passing situation, right? They're passing the football. Gets the tight end off him. Robert Tonyan, too light, right? Sheds him. Able to pursue. Ends up forcing a throwaway or contributing to a throwaway. There was good coverage on the back end, but you see how that's able to work for Chase Young. You never let tight ends block you, or you shouldn't, right? Some defensive ends do get hemmed up by tight ends, but Chase Young said he ain't about to be one of them. Now, I mentioned how the Bears ultimately responded on one particular instance with Chase Young providing so much pressure on that left side, right? Ultimately, I think 11 pressures on the day. Now, you see that play. Never mind what happened with DJ Moore and Emmanuel Forbes. We're going to ignore that. But you see, he got triple teamed, right? Still creating or trying to create pressure. He's able to win initially, right? Split between the left guard and the left tackle to get inside, but ultimately triple teamed at the point of attack. Like, that's the type of day that Chase Young had, getting triple teamed. And yeah, by the way, DJ Moore wasn't out. He should have scored. That was going to be ugly. We'll end with this one. Obviously, as we're running the play initially, you can't account, in terms of Chase Young, you can't account for how Cody Barton is able to lose his man in coverage, the slow process, and being able to pick that up. He wasn't able to do that. But you are able to see another instance where Chase Young isn't necessarily winning when he's slanting inside or cutting inside, right? He's winning on the edge too. I think that's really good, but also what's really good is how he's been able to develop his hand usage over time, right? And for a person who I thought over the previous years didn't use his hands enough, right? He just relied on either a speed or a bull and nothing else to it in terms of once he's engaged. I think that whatever he did this offseason in terms of who he's learned from or what he's picked up and how he's been able to retain it has been really good throughout the season. And for him, like, even though he's in year 4, he's missed quite some time. But for somebody to show signs of life with their hand usage shows me that somebody is growing as a player, as an NFL player. And for Chase, in this instance, right, you see that good get off again, 2-point stance, but he attacks two places with his hands. He attacks the Bears' left tackle, his right shoulder, his inside shoulder with his left hand. And Chase uses his opposite hand, right? This is independent hand usage at work, but he uses his opposite hand, Chase's right hand, to swipe the tackle's left hand away from him so he can clear the edge, right? So that gives Chase Young that edge. After he didn't beat him inside damn near all game, he's able to quickly win outside, turn the corner, and try to get a hand on Justin Fields. He isn't able to do so, right? In terms of like prevent the touchdown from happening, he's not able to do that. But you can see how he's able to win on the edge as well. And that's a really good job for Chase Young. So listen, that's going to wrap it up for Chase Young. I hope you enjoyed the clips. Quick clips. You kind of see, like, again, what I mentioned, his burst, his quickness, his use of hands, right? Those three main things in terms of the pass rush, but also his pursuit ability and effort. Like, that's really good in terms of that chase down run, right? For the most part, he does a good job holding his own on the edge in terms of the run game too. You can see what he looks like on the backside of a play as well. Like, he does give effort. Sometimes I'm admitting that I do. Sometimes I can see a little bit more. I wish I can see a little bit more from him in terms of how he finishes plays, right? But at the same time, Chase Young's competitiveness is there. And the fact that he's growing as a pass rusher on a week-to-week basis, but also like using his hands a lot more is an encouraging sign for me. And, you know, we'll see what happens at the end of the season. But right now, we can monitor him as the week goes on. I'm very encouraged by Chase. I hope you are too. But let us know your comments and your thoughts, and we can go from there on Chase Young. So without further ado, that's going to wrap it up for us. Till next time. Peace.
Trap it down, trap it down, you gon' trap it down. Trap it down, you gon' trap it down. Damn, set, watch him throw the ball, man. We gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through 4th and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.